Hello there, welcome back to Perkins Pipes. This is the next in the series of videos on my pipe collection. And for this, I wanted to go with the fun Star Wars shirt, and I had to go with my hat that I had made. I made some hats when I was doing historical reenactment with this stylized Roman soldier helmet. Because this is the next one, and this is, you've seen it many times on this channel, this is the big boy. This is the centurion pipe. So let's take a little look at this one. So another that I made out of some blanks. What can I say? It's huge in terms of I always refer to this as a big chunk of briar. I mean, you can just see getting my fist around this. This is a big piece of wood. Chamber is pretty good, pretty deep. Nice thick walls. This guy does not get overly heated at all. And I had seen, at the time of making this, I had seen a guy that had made one with, I think, like a Marine Corps logo on the front. Maybe it was a different branch of the military, but I think it was Marine Corps. And he just uses Dremel and had done that because he was in the Marines. And I kind of thought, hey, that's kind of cool. When I was doing historical reenactment, I often portrayed a character who was a centurion in Julius Caesar's army back in the first century BC, the decade of the 50s BC, a guy named Gaius Crestinus, real guy. Caesar writes about him in his commentaries, and I thought, well, I portray that guy, so that'd be kind of fun. So I did the centurion's helmet on here, seen straight on. So you get the side-to-side crest. We call that a transverse crest. See if we can get our finger going there. There you go. So you see the crest there. And then the cheek flaps coming down on either side of the helmet there to protect the face. So that was kind of neat. Up until this pipe, I did not have any that were in any way rusticated or detailed. And so I went to town on this guy. I went to town on it with my Dremel. Really gave that some nice, some nice figuring there, some nice detailing. Went completely around, as you can see, the shank and, all the way around. And you can see from the bottom here, it's a really nice flat bottom, great sitter. Sits up nicely on the table. And I got a little something on there, I see. Sets up really nicely. So let's go ahead and light this guy and talk a little bit more about him and how he smokes. Just kind of straighten that stem up there. Now, given how big a hunk of burley this is, you might think, oh, that doesn't clench very well. It does, actually. Again, I'm not entirely sure I like what I've done with the geometry here of the shank into this really curving stem. So it does hang in an interesting way. As with the last video, I don't know that I like the look of it coming out of my face as much as others, but boy, there's a nice feel to this. And I mentioned this before. When I get ready to enjoy a pipe, I'll go to my collection. Sometimes I know right away what I want, but sometimes I have to pick out two or three. Feel it in the hand, give it a quick feel in the mouth, and I will tell you immediately, I will know, nope, that's not the one for this session, or, yep, that is the one. And there's just a feeling. I don't know. It kind of fits the mood or what I'm going to be doing while enjoying the bike. Whether I'm going to be writing or reading or merely thinking, contemplating, praying. This one smokes very, very well. Again, it's got a really good draw to it. Holds a lot. I'm not sure that it holds as much as you might think, given how big this seems. It's quite stout. I've often thought about opening that up a little bit more, maybe to make it hold a little bit more. The thing is, I really do like those thick walls. I'm not really wanting to reduce those, so I don't know if I'll ever change that or not. Definitely not a subtle pipe. Not subtle at all. Well, I'm feeling particularly manly, I'll bring this guy up. So again, please be kind. But what do you think of the centurion pipe? That's how I always refer to it. The centurion pipe. What do you think of the detailing there with the Dremel, the overall look, the walls, and so forth? I'd like to hear what you think about that. And again, since this is one I made, I'm going to ask you that question. Would you ever consider making a pipe of your own? If you are a craftsman of any kind, if you enjoy noodling around in your garage or playing around with woodworking, small crafts and things like that, not necessarily to sell, but would you ever consider making one for yourself? So, as Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing, and since we're smoking a centurion pipe, we better say it in Latin. Parva ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.